time. Welcome, welcome, guys.
Thank you.
How was that?
It was that was incredible. I want to thank, we want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. How's that for a warm reception on a very cold night?
Yeah, it's hot in there, so that's all that matters.
A lot of people have been waiting a very long time for this album.
Yeah, they have. I mean, we're just really proud of it. We're really excited, and we're really happy to share it with everybody. It's just a very special record to us. So
there is a happy ending to this album.
There is, yeah. I'd say there's a happy ending to the record, right? Happy ending to the record.
Oh, there's a happy ending.
I think so. I gotta think the hope at the end.
I was reading though that it saw you through the toughest times you guys have ever been through together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, making this record was the hardest thing we've ever had to do as a band, and so the record really got us through it, and we knew that they would all be here for us when we got finished, so it made it worthwhile,
It's so interesting to me, Gerard, because you're one of the rare songwriters that planned so far in advance. I read that albums in advance, you know the song titles beforehand, and I wonder what was the one thing that you didn't plan for that went wrong in this album?
Oh, I don't think anything went wrong, but we didn't plan a lot of it. That's why the song titles, I think, ended up being so short, is because the themes and the concepts all came out of the music, and sometimes, you wanted to call a song just Dead, or just Sleep, or just Mama. Like, they're very short, very to the point, this record, so.
You decided for a theme on this album, and for the people at home, do you want to explain the theme of the album?
Yeah, well, very basically, it's based on a theory that when you die, I like to believe that death comes for you from your strongest memory in a subconscious way, and kind of takes you by the hand and brings you off to your next destination. And for this particular character named the Patient, his strongest memory is of his father taking him into the city to see a parade. So,
guys, during the toughest times that you guys have been through as a band, what were those memories of this that got you through those tough times?
What got us through the tough times? I think they're all having a hard time hearing.
It was just us being together, and we I know any problems that anybody had when we were doing this, we looked at each other to figure out how to get better, and we all worked with each other, and we couldn't have done it without each other.
Now, although there is a...
And I don't even know if that was a question or not. I'm just guessing.
No, you got it.
I can't hear a thing.
You got it.
Now, it is a fictional story, and I'm wondering what part of this particular story do each of you personally relate to?
The thing about the Patient is that he's kind of an everyman. You can kind of put yourself, anybody can put themselves in that character. And I think that, looking back, there's definitely decisions that you might have made or times where you feel like maybe you didn't live life to the fullest. And when you start to realize that you never know when your time is up, anybody can relate to that kind of thing. So for us, or at least for me, it helped me to really just make sure that make every second count.
There were those moments very early on in this band's career where it could have been no more. I mean, you were ready to give up at one point, were you not?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't necessarily ready to give up, as it might not have been my choice. It might have been somebody else's choice. I might not be alive today, and I made the decision with the help of the band to take a different path. And I think, those guys helping me through that is the reason that I have everything that I have today. So.
One of the songs that I particularly like that I've been reading a lot about is Teenagers. It's about gun violence, and I wonder if it's an epidemic that's going on in the U.S. It's coming over here as well, and I wonder what is so important to you about talking about it.
The song just kind of, you know what it is we play for people of all different ages, but we play to a lot of teens. And when we were in high school, it just started to get really violent in America when I was in high school. And then when I was in art school, it got really violent. And that's when Columbine happened. And I think there's not enough being said about that. And I know there wasn't ever a song about it. And we needed this song to really count. And we needed it to be about something important. And that's the first thing that the song wanted to be about, really. I mean, that's how we found that topic. It just came to us,
The thing about that a lot of people remember in high school is a lot of violence, and a lot of the gun violence you're talking about is a lot of young boys. It's a lot of young men perpetrating this kind of stuff. And when you're in high school, especially for men or young boys, violence is a way of exuding your masculinity.
Right. I mean, it gets very tribal in high school, and you're separated into cliques or groups, and you know, it feels like nobody's really there for you, but there are actually people there for you, people for you to talk to. And but it is often, you know, young troubled men that turn to violence to, I don't know, yeah.
Not being particularly the most violent people or the most jockish people growing up, how do you think that affected your growth as people?
Well, we did grow up in a violent area of New Jersey, and I think it really actually had the reverse effect on us. Instead of making us violent, it made us, I feel, more intelligent. It made us want to use our brains. It made us really live in our own heads, but for our betterment, I think, you know.
It's often the women in our lives as men who teach us how to be men or what it is to be a man. And I wonder, Mikey and Gerard, what did your grandmother teach you about what it was to be a man?
Our grandmother taught us to have a lot of respect. I think she taught us, just like my father, to really respect women. And, you know, and my grandmother was the kind of woman that she would just command your respect. But just because she was so sweet and so special and so unique and you know, I mean, every guy in this band has nothing but total respect for women. So
we've got an audience question. I'm not
Sure.
the only person who gets to ask the questions. And we've got an audience question right over here. Listen. Hey, what's your name?
My name's Rachel.
What's your question for the guys?
Okay, well, we want to let you guys know that we love you all endlessly. And my question is, if you could go back to school, all of you, what would your major be?
Good question.
if you could go back to school, what would your major be?
Kicking ass.
I would be an archaeologist and explore the pyramids.
Me and Gerard would be archaeologists.
Home economics.
Economics?
Home economics.
Home economics.
I think I'm gonna go pilot.
What?
A pilot.
Pilot. That's right.
Time before, and it kind of struck something in my head, and then I was like, I'm gonna do it one day. I'll do it.
Do any of you ever think about that, possibly going back to school or studying?
I actually do all the time. Like, I really want to go back to school and take some more drawing classes, because if you don't do a lot of life drawing, if you stop drawing, like, you get really out of practice, and your people start to look like fire hydrants and stuff, and, you know.
The great part about the position that you guys are in is now that you're out of school and you've got success, you could go back and study anything that you're actually interested in studying as opposed to having to study it just because you're at school.
Still cut class and smoke cigarettes though.
What?
I don't know why.
Do you know what's really weird?
Yeah.
I have unfinished business in
I gotta feel some of these guys would still, like, skip class, right?
I thought the question was, what would you be like if you had another profession?
I was saying
I can't hear it.
Similar. Similar enough.
One thing. So I guess the school would be
Your major.
learning to be a pilot.
Right, exactly.
All right. Guys, we got a text question. It's from Robin, and she's wondering, this is pretty interesting to me, how did you get Liza Minnelli on the album, and why did you get Liza Minnelli on the album?
Well, first of all, we got Liza Minnelli because we wanted somebody that had a lot of strength in her voice, a lot of sorrow, had been through a lot, had loved, lived, and lost, and somebody that carried with it a tradition and a lineage. And I mean, you know, the record's very theatrical, it's very cabaret, and I mean, you know, we went to the source, really. And Rob Cavallo called a friend of hers, and she was so excited to do it. She did it for free. She loved the band, and she was so sweet, so funny, and so charming.
Are you guys big Arrested Development fans?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
She's the best character in the show.
Yes, she is.
You guys get the rare opportunity to meet some of your idols now. I know that you've got a strong relationship with Green Day, now with Liza Minnelli. When you look at people who have that much experience, what do they offer you? I mean, what do they say to you when you speak to them? What do you ask people like that?
You ask them for help, really, because we don't know how to do this. We're still winging it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, when I have a problem, I'll email Billy Joe and say, hey, this is bumming me out, and he always sends me a letter back and makes me feel better. So, I mean, the best part is now a lot of our heroes, we get to meet them, and they get to help us, and it's awesome.
Unbelievable. We have tons more to talk about. More performance, your chance to talk to MCOs coming up. We're going to take a break. Stick around for a lot of much.